You know, one of the things most hitters love to do is they love to analyze their swing. They love to watch video and try to make little tweaks and adjustments in order to get better, in order to hit the ball more consistently and hit it harder and further, hit more line drives, hit more home runs, right? That's what it's all about, is constantly fine-tuning things so that you can become a better hitter. So today, I thought it'd be great to share with you in this video 6 must-know, very important tips for you to do a good job at analyzing your swing so that you can really step it up at the plate, all right? So the very first tip is you need to look for the cause, not the effect. Look for the cause, not the effect. So what I mean by this is such an important point for you to understand as a hitter. Typically when you see something going wrong in your swing, typically that's surface level. And what we need to do is we need to go beyond that surface level. We need to dig deeper, and we really need to get at that root cause. So start at the surface level, effect that you're seeing, and then reverse engineer that and figure out, okay, what dominoes that are happening earlier in the swing, what are causing these dominoes to fall, and it's causing the end result to look like this. So let me just give you an example because it'll be easier for you to understand. Let's say that one of the things that you see in your swing is, man, it looks like I'm pulling my head. Or maybe coach or dad tells you, yeah, it looks like you're just pulling your head at the plate. Well, that would be great for you to just, see that in your little video that you have and say, well, I just need to, stop doing that. But the reality is that's an effect. That's not the cause. The cause could be several different things. That's what you need to diagnose. So it could be, hey, when you step in the batter's box, you're just swinging too hard. You're over swinging. You're trying to hit, a 500-foot bomb. And what that's causing you to do is it's causing you to tense up, tighten up, and then it's causing you to just pull your head and pull your eyes off of the baseball because you're trying to do too much. That could be it. It could be a timing issue. You might be thinking, how could it be a timing issue? Well, if you're consistently late, one of the things your brain is going to tell your body if you're late with getting everything going is, oh no, the ball's already right here. The only way I'm going to be able to make contact with this ball is if I pull my head in hopes to get the barrel there somehow, And so it could be a variety of different things. I just challenge you, go beyond the surface level, because typically that's more along the lines of the effect and it's something else that's causing it. That's what we need to figure out. The second tip that'll really help you with analyzing your swing is use checkpoints. What I mean is there are specific moments in time in your baseball swing where it might make sense for you to, take a snapshot of your swing at that period of time and kind of compare it to what an elite high-level swing looks like at that moment in time. So what are these checkpoints that I'm referring to? Well, there's plenty of different checkpoints. And the key is if you find something that's going wrong in a moment of time, let's say one of the checkpoints is your launch position. If something is off in your launch position, then you need to figure out what's causing that, right? Because I always say hitting is like dominoes, hitting is a chain reaction. If you've got something wrong at the start of your swing or in your launch position, that's only going to get worse and cause other problems later on. So again, we need to backtrack and figure out, do I look good in the launch position, or is there something that I need to work on in that position? So there's lots of different checkpoints that you can use. The first is obviously your stance and setup. And there's a million different stances out there. There's no one right way to stand. Otherwise, your favorite big leaguers would all stand the exact same way. But keep it athletic, and just make sure the biggest thing is that your stance is not causing other problems. The most basic stance is obviously a little wider than shoulder width, right? I recommend for most hitters, you don't want to go too wide. You also don't want to go too narrow, but it really depends your style at the plate. Everyone has their own swagger. As long as it doesn't cause other issues, I'm cool with it, okay? One of the areas though that's really important is the launch position. So after you load and you stride, when your front foot hits the ground like this is considered your launch position. And you gotta, there are certain absolutes in the launch position. So again, this is a moment in time, but freeze yourself when your front foot hits the ground. Make sure your front foot is landing slightly open, okay? Make sure you're in an athletic position here. Make sure you've got a good stretch with this arm and you've got some separation going on so that you can separate your lower half and your upper half and generate more bat speed. Make sure the angle of your bat, your knob is facing down towards the catcher like this, okay? You don't want your knob facing the backstop and wrapping the bat like this. You certainly don't want your knob facing, the pitcher like this, because what that could cause is it could cause you to dump your barrel like this and again, cause problems later on in your swing, okay? So look at your launch position, compare it to a pro player and see, do I look like him at this particular point in my swing. We can talk about getting to contact. You know, one of the most important things there is doing a good job at staying connected, keeping everything in tight here, and your arm should stay bent. Even at the point of contact, your arm should still remain bent. You don't get extension at contact, you get extension after contact. Look at the impact position, okay? Are you hitting against a firm front side, maximizing your power, okay? Are your hands palm up, palm down? Are your eyes on the baseball? Do you have a good L shape here? Meaning, are you doing a good job at staying back? And then extension. Are you driving through the baseball? Are you finishing your swing high, which means you did a good job at getting on, playing with the pitch, and staying on, playing with the pitch, working slightly up. So long story short, use checkpoints. They're gonna help you out in specific moments in time in your swing. Figure out, okay, there's something going wrong in this moment, and then figure out what it is, fix it, and you'll be well on your way. All right, the third tip, pitch location matters. What I'm getting at here is you can't compare apples to oranges. You gotta compare two of the same things. And so when you're comparing your swing to your favorite big leaguer swing, try to get as much context as possible. Not only the location of the pitch, because every pitch has different contact points, right? You're gonna hit an inside pitch at a different spot than you'd hit an away pitch, but you also need to understand, if possible, what pitch was thrown, what's the count, what's the situation. Try to get as much of a complete picture and as much context as possible. That's gonna help you out. That's gonna help you avoid comparing apples to oranges, okay? Because the reality is, yes, there are absolutes in the baseball swing, but it's difficult for you to compare, you know, your favorite big leaguer. Let's say he's hitting an inside pitch, or maybe it's even a high inside pitch or whatever, and you're hitting an away pitch, two different locations. So you might see him, and maybe, you know, he's a little bit too early. And so you might see him hitting the ball way out front here like this with his arms a little bit more extended, because again, his timing was a little bit off. And you might be thinking with your outside pitch, well, I need to do the exact same thing. I need to look the exact same way. And the reality is, no, you don't. He was a little bit too early. And on top of that, this is a different pitch location. You have to let this ball travel a little bit more. So your swing is going to look relatively the same, but you're going to hit it back here like this and look slightly different, as opposed to him, you know, out here like this. So you just have to understand context as much as possible and understand pitch location. It does matter. So, you know, try your best to, you know, if you're hitting a pitch right over the middle of the plate belt high, try to find a swing where the pitch is right over the middle of the plate belt high. Compare those two. A fourth tip is don't underestimate good timing, all right? Good timing can actually solve a lot of your problems as a hitter, and vice versa. Having bad timing can actually cause a lot of issues. A lot of your issues in your swing stem from not being on time, either being consistently too early or consistently too late. If your timing's off though, it's gonna cause other things in your swing to just be all out of whack. So above all else, you know, you've gotta see the ball as a hitter, and you really need to consciously always be working on arriving on time. You know, one of the things that hitters, you know, might think is, they might think it's a mechanical issue, like, oh, I'm lunging, okay? But the question you need to ask yourself is, are you really lunging, or is your timing off? Because if you're consistently really early, what that could mean is you're not necessarily lunging. It's not a mechanical problem. It's a timing issue that's causing you, oh, I'm early, the ball's not here yet, but I'm already committed, I'm already out over my front foot, the ball's still not here, still not here, still not here. My weight keeps drifting over my front foot like this, and I hit the ball like this, and I say, oh, it looks like, you know, I'm out over my front foot, I'm overstriding, I'm lunging. The reality is it could be your timing. I like to say timing is like duct tape. You know, it solves a lot of problems, right? Duct tape solves a lot of problems, so does having good timing. So you got to see the ball, mechanics are important, but timing is going to cure a lot of your issues. Work on timing. Okay, let's get into tip number 5. Make small adjustments at the beginning of the sequence. So we talked earlier about it's so important for you to drill down to the root cause, what's causing your issues, right? The real thing, not the surface level thing. So let's say that, you know, you're finishing your swing low instead of high. Just for reference, you always want to finish your swing high no matter what pitch location, whether it's a low pitch, a middle pitch, a high pitch. You always want to finish your swing with your bat high, like above your head height. You never want to finish with your swing low, meaning I'm over exaggerating here, but if I swing on a downward plane like this and I finish my swing down here, if I finish it like mid back, we don't want that. We want to finish our swing high. So you could be saying, well, looks like I'm finishing my swing low. Why is that? Well, you're swinging on a downward plane. So how do we fix that? You want to backtrack all the way to the beginning and make small adjustments, okay? So how can I work on, instead of swinging down, swinging on plane with the pitch? I think it starts with your approach. So don't try to swing down. You want to match the plane of the pitch, which is the pitch is coming slightly down, your swing needs to be slightly up. You can work on things like, you know, in your launch position, when your front foot lands, your front shoulder should be slightly lower than your back shoulder, like this. Okay, you don't want your shoulder flat. You don't want this shoulder up like this when your front foot hits the ground. You actually want your front foot, or your front shoulder rather, slightly lower. And then as you progress through your swing and you rotate into the baseball, then your shoulders are gonna swap at the point of contact. Now my back shoulder's lower, you see that? But I'm reverse engineering all the way back to my launch position. I need to have that front shoulder lower like that. So you get what I'm getting at here. It's a chain reaction, it's dominoes falling, and you need to bring it back all the way to the beginning. It could be, you know, I'm hitting too many ground balls, my bat's coming off plane early. All right, so maybe check your grip, because simple as it sounds, if you're wrapping the bat like this, again, I'll over exaggerate, but if you're wrapping the bat, what that could cause is you could look great in your launch position, right? You could look great, you know, getting to the point of contact, staying connected, but right at the point of contact, this is an uncomfortable position with my hands here, and I can't keep my hands palm up, palm down for long. So I might look fine here, but right after I hit it, my wrists have to roll, otherwise I'm gonna break my wrists, right? What that does is it takes my bat off plane with the pitch. So it's not thinking about keeping your bat on plane longer. That might help, but reverse engineer it all the way back, make little changes at the beginning. How about fixing your grip? Making sure that you've got a good grip with either your door knocking knuckles aligned or maybe splitting the difference like this, and making sure your grip is, you know, out in your fingers so you have more bat control and more bat speed. So little things like that, start at the beginning of the sequence first. All right, and number 6, don't try to change too much at the same time, because the reality is you can't change multiple things at the same time. And number 2, why would you want to? If the first thing, if you do a good job at diagnosing the problem and the first thing is what fixes it, then why would you want to go any further? You should hypothetically fix the problem at that point, right? So I encourage you, figure out that root cause and start at the beginning of the sequence, fix that first, and understand that it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time, and understand you can only work on one thing at once. Just like multitasking is impossible, and you literally can't think about 2 thoughts at the same time. You can go back and forth between thoughts, but you can't think about 2 thoughts at once. You can only think 1 thought. Same thing applies here. You can only work on one thing. So do a good job diagnosing the real root causes. Work on the beginning of the sequence at first. Understand it's an evolution. It's going to take time, and you just keep making small tweaks here and there, and eventually you really get the hang of it. So I really hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, if you like this video, please leave a like right now. Seriously, do it. Please leave a like, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me out. It helps the channel grow, so I'd appreciate that. Subscribe and turn your notifications on. Hit that little bell down there. That way you're notified whenever we release new videos. And if you like this video, you're gonna love the free resource I put together for you. It's called the Contact Point Checklist. And what I've done is I've freeze framed the swing at the point of contact, and I've highlighted a few key areas that you need to make sure that you have incorporated into your swing. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love this, and it's 100% free. So just click on the link down below to download it right now. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.